I know you're desperate. Let's talk England.
We're England playing, are they?
You've called up, well, not you personally, but
haven't.
England. Well, yeah, you are England. The most biased English pundit I've ever met. You've called up 8 I'm joking.
I qualified for Scotland.
All right,
and
I'm
Wales,
joking. Don't get mad. Don't hit me again. 8 uncapped players to the tournament.
You're a bully. You've got a scary face.
We'll find out which of these selections is most titillating, Flats.
Yeah, we will.
There'll be a few there, I think.
I mean, I'm
and who he thinks should replace the injured Billy Vunipola. Big news that is. But we're going to hear that after we've heard from Owen Farrell on, guess what? Guess what's gone on?
What?
Where Owen Farrell's been involved? I don't know. Well,
but ITV's Gabriel Clark would ask him, and we know that.
Let's hear from him.
He don't dodge nothing, our Gabes.
Oh, good to see you. First of all, what's your take on Saracens and the punishment?
Disappointing, obviously, but as a club we've accepted the punishment, and I back the club to come back from this.
Will you stay with the club next season?
There's obviously ongoing chats. We have an idea of what our plan would be for the lads that are coming into camp. We've had a sit down, but obviously nothing's set in stone, so we're not in a position to talk about it. But we feel clear enough at this moment in time to get on with what's in front of us and get excited about getting to England.
Do you see problems with the players who are coming from other clubs meeting up with you, the Saracens players, in the England squad?
I don't know. I think the best thing about this squad over the past year or so, we've got better at being upfront with each other. We've got better at being open. We've got better at being honest. And if that's the case, then we'll get it out there and we'll sort it out and be able to move on.
Didn't give too much away, did he?
No, never does, and why would he?
Cage von Cage.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage. We do anything, but he says they're going to be upfront and open and honest with one another about what's happened, and as Eddie Jones has said in a press conference as well, they'll talk about the whole Sarries salary cap thing and the relegation, and I think that's a much larger conversation for another time. But I think they're certainly not going to get together and not talk about it. But enormous salary cap sized elephant in the room. But I just think the reality is when the players get training and get banging and clanging, they just don't think about that stuff.
Also, I think because the report has been leaked now as well, it gives people far more information, and it sort of answers a lot of what ifs.
Yeah, but it's kind of a what we at the time of recording because there's new stuff happening by the hour almost at the moment.
Yeah.
But it's impossible to keep track on it. But it's almost a write up of the report,
Yeah, which we all sort of guessed anyway, which was going on, and nothing really shocking in there.
Anyway, Owen is very excited, despite all of that stuff about building on the foundations what they laid in Japan.
Let me ask you a question. With all the unrest that's gone on at Saracens, the Saracens players in the English squad, having new coaches in the English squad, do you think that's going to affect them? Mentally, are they in as good places? As Eddie Jones is making out, because I'm not quite sure they are.
I think
it's bound to affect the squad slightly.
Yeah, I don't see how you can't be distracted by it, because it's something really big to talk about that isn't to do with preparing for the Test match against France. So people will be spending time talking about it, and that is then what they're not talking about while they're talking about the salary cap stuff is the upcoming Test match. So it is a distraction, but can pro players deal with that? I just think when you walk out there and click into game mode, you just don't think about anything like that. I'm sure the players spent a lot of time talking about Brexit and elections, but they go out and start whacking into each other. Actually, I think Sam Underhill's the only one that talks about that.
Yeah, you're just making an example of the news they're talking about, but this affects the players.
I guess so. Yeah, they're more invested in this. Excuse the pun, but I think it
co-invested.
I think
20%.
There's every chance. I brought more than 20. I've got to be honest. 20 wouldn't be enough. I don't know. I guess we don't know till they play. But
yeah.
I can't help thinking these lads are such pros that once you get out there whacking and smacking, they'd just be absolutely fine.
But every year, obviously, squads are announced, but I think there's been more uproar in this current Six Nations squad that's been announced than I can remember for England.
Yeah.
Purely because some of the form players that are absolutely dominating the Premiership haven't been selected.
Yeah, I mean, the key position, I think, you know what you think, is number 8.
Yep.
And remember a guy called Don Armand at Exeter Chiefs, who still plays, dominant Don, and he was just the kiddie for a couple of seasons, just 3 seasons, just so dominant, still a fantastic player, still doing it. And there was this growing feeling that the more we talked about it, the less Eddie Jones wanted to pick him, which is probably has something to do with why Danny Cipriani never got picked, because all of us were telling him forever he had to pick him. Well, I still think Danny Cipriani should have been picked more for England. It's odd that he's not even in the conversation now. So but we'll get back to the number 8s, which is obviously what we're talking about. But you got Jacob Umaga in, and Cipriani's injured, and Marcus Smith out. But
that's left field, Jacob Umaga.
Yeah, more pertinently, Joe Simmons not in. Jacob Umaga's a really promising young player. I watch every game. I know Eddie Jones does too, of course, and he's a hugely bright man who is infinitely more experienced at preparing a rugby team than you or I, in that he's done it a million times and I've never done it. I do not see how you pick. I really like Jacob Umaga. I do not see how anyone selects him over Joe Simmons. I don't see how you do that. If there are reasons, we'll never know them, I don't suppose. I would love to know them, because that would maybe educate me and make me a better analyst.
He's got a super hard uncle.
Because I can't see them. Yeah, it's Tano Umaga. Yeah, you do as you're told. But number 8s, you've got 4 standout number 8s, because Billy comes with a lot of credit in the bank. He's injured. Alex Dombrandt, imperfect, but hugely talented, big, really difficult to deal with if you're a defender. His work rate is improving all the time. He is a standout player for Quins. He is the standout player in a team full of internationals. Exceptional start to a professional career. Not in. Tiamana Harrison, rejuvenated. He is in monstrous form. Watched him against Wasps a couple of weeks back. Holy moly, he was a force of nature.
I think Northampton's form at the moment has been brilliant. It's been incredible. Tiamana Harrison, you just mentioned there, has been fantastic for him. As has Rory Hutchinson, who's in the Scotland squad now, as has Dan Biggar. I think this is the best I've seen Dan Biggar play. Yeah, a proper attacking threat. It's great news for Wales that he's coming into this campaign on the back of playing some quality rugby and attacking rugby, and he's threatening the lines. He's playing. He's putting players through holes. He's running through holes himself as well. So
pass between his legs recently, didn't he?
Yeah. Also hit like a lovely centre line and then offloaded Reinhardt for a try. So I think Dan Biggar's this season at Northampton has just gone to another level. Yeah, as have a lot of Northampton players.
Tiamana Harrison has just been. I did one of those funny little teams of the week the other week, and someone said, "Oh God, you haven't put him in," and I basically had to stick to my guns all the while, thinking, "Forgot that, got that wrong." He was well good, It's like, he was excellent. He has been mega, and Sam Simmons again, the Simmons brothers at Chief. Sam Simmons not in. I just don't understand. I mean, I fully don't understand why he's not in.
And the thing is, like, you could understand if their form was quiet, or the team hadn't been doing well, or they weren't really getting involved in games. There wasn't much instances where we saw them dominating carries or dominating tackles, but they are.
But you can understand Sam Simmons not being in if Harrison and Dombrandt were in. Yeah. Understand Harrison not being in if Dombrandt and Simmons were in. But none of the three's in. And there's not a specialist.
Surely they're going to get called up though.
And I never know what. Not I never know. But the whole we need a specialist number 8. Like, well, yes. I mean we always think back to Delalio and think what would we have done without him, but that's because we had one. But if you're talking about, Ted Hill, rookie, really good ball carrier, really good player, him coming in at number 8, or Tom Curry coming at number 8, or Lewis Ludlam at number 8, well, these guys might all be able to do a job, but you are very likely picking a young bloke out of position in Paris.